Cyber Reapers. Hello, Cyber Reapers. So, tonight, or today, whenever, wherever you are, I would like to talk about a book. So tonight I've got a kind of a dual timeline book. And, it's like historical for one timeline and contemporary for the other. And there's a bit of paranormal mixed in there with ghosts. In addition, there's also just like a lot of Japanese culture, language, history embedded in there. So the book is called Songs for Ghosts by Clara Kumagai. So let's set the scene. Adam is our main character. Adam, starting off the book, is kind of going through like a bit of a rough spot. 'Cause he and his boyfriend just broke up. So, yeah, that's not fun. And so he's kind of having a hard time just moving on from that, because emotionally he's dwelling on his boyfriend, his ex-boyfriend, and also, trying to get through school. He plays the cello in orchestra, but he's kind of stressed about the final exam, and even though he's practiced, it seems like he just isn't good enough for people or for himself. And he's kind of got these tensions with his family as well, because you see his mom is deceased and his dad is living but remarried and has a baby with Adam's stepmom. So in addition, there are a bit of like extra tensionness in there, because Adam is Japanese American, Japanese on his mom's side, so he looks different than his like otherwise white family. And so this book has a lot of Adam investigating and reconnecting with his Japanese heritage. So he is learning a little bit of Japanese, but he's not really super excited about it. He's in a class outside of school to learn Japanese, but really only because his stepmom thinks he should. And so there's like a lot of just like he's trying to get through life right now as a teenager, but he's just emotionally kind of going like not feeling the greatest at the moment. So that's where Adam is at the beginning of the book. But then Adam is what I meant to say. Adam finds an item in the attic. And this item is an old diary. And he doesn't know much about it. When he asks his dad about it, Adam learns that the diary wasn't written by his mom, but his mom owned it. Like she had it in her possession for some reason or another. And so Adam gets curious about it and he starts reading. He finds that this diary was written by a Japanese woman who lived, let me remember, she lived in Nagasaki in Japan. And the diary first starts, I think, in about 1911. So Adam finds this diary and he starts reading, and he's going, oh wow, this is really interesting. And he gets invested in what happened in the life of this woman. And yeah, this woman is marriage age, but that she is just starting to she's starting to learn to play the biwa, an instrument, and she finds that she's connecting with ghosts by doing so, and trying to help them basically find peace by telling stories that resonate with the ghosts, telling those stories while, singing and playing. So she does that, and she's also looking to further her education a little bit, so she learns English, and this is under the guise of trying to be a suitable wife. She's learning English to be a good wife for, say, a businessman or somebody. And so Adam reads more about what she's going through, and during this time he connects with her struggles and points of history that she's undergoing. Keep in mind, this is 1911, and her diary spans decades, so if you don't remember what happens during the 1910s to 1930s, 40s in Japan, I encourage you to read this book. Because it's got a lot of worldwide history in it, as well as specifically Japanese history, and also culture and language, not just in the diary, but in the book itself, because Adam, while reading this, starts to get more curious about what she's talking about, and what happened to her, and what happened to her family, and the people in the diary. So he starts learning about, just more, about Japan. And through happenstance is maybe a little vague. Let's say it's because of his Japanese class. Adam goes to Nagasaki for the summer, and so during this time, he's getting more invested in what's going on in the book, and he starts to sense that there's a ghost attached to this book, and he's going, oh no, this is getting a little creepy, because not only is the woman in the book talking about playing music to connect with ghosts, but now there's this ghost that's following him around and playing his cello when he's not looking, So he realizes that this ghost is actually the woman from the diary, who goes unnamed for a while. He doesn't know who she is. And she starts to feel restless, and he realizes, oh, I need to figure out what happened to her and her children so that she can find peace. So now his interest becomes a little more determined as he goes, okay, I gotta figure out who she is, so I've got these clues based on what the diary says, and let me figure out what happened to her and her kids. And it's also a little bit of he tries to do this as a way of making it right for her, because she endured so much tragedy during her life. Also, the way she died, I'm not gonna spoil that, but that's tragic too. So it's just got a lot of, this book has a lot of heart. I think there's a lot of interesting things that I connect to, because I'm happening to read, I happened to read this book at this time when I'm kind of investigating a little bit of my own family history and connecting with the stories that I didn't know about my great-grandparents and beyond. Especially, there's kind of this mystery over who my great-grandfather is on my dad's side. Well, on my dad's Adam's side. And I don't know if I'm gonna figure it out, but I am a little bit curious, so I hope that maybe I can figure it out. But it'll be a little difficult, because I don't think anybody knows, or at least anybody living. That was my side quest that I just kind of talked about there, but because of stuff like that, I felt really connected to this book. And I mean, this is more of a cohesive story, so I feel like the way that Adam figured out the pieces to this book was kind of a little bit, supernatural influence kind of helped him out, and unfortunately I don't think I have that to help me out. But I do really like that it is this nice contained story that is inspiring and hopeful, in the sense of it's kind of encouraging me to think, oh yeah, maybe I can figure out this stuff. It feels a little hopeless, but maybe I can, and I really want to learn more about my family and my family's history. So I think it's certainly possible. And this book, I think, is just, it's very encouraging in that sense of like, yeah, you can do it. And that's kind of what I mainly got out of the book. Well, in addition though to like all the Japanese stuff you learn, there's a lot, because it's got a lot of it's got a lot of vocabulary, it's got a lot of historical events and certain stories or songs or tales that are told, and the story really guides you through a lot of it. And some of the things were, I just looked up the word so that I'd know more clearly, oh, okay, this is a way of greeting somebody, or oh, this is a way of saying see you later, and I found that really neat. Alright, I'm gonna look at my notes, see if there's anything I forgot. Okay, I think all that I had left actually was just the representation notes. So I already kind of mentioned a bit about Adam. Adam is a queer Japanese American guy, and also there's a queer subplot in this book. There's a queer romance subplot in this book, to be clear. And the love interest is a Japanese closeted queer guy, and I think the cast in general is composed of people who have different, who are from different races, ethnicities, and sexualities, from what I remember. But also a decent portion of the book takes place in Japan, so there's a decent amount of Japanese people who compose the cast. And then I'm trying to think, the woman of the diary, she was a Japanese woman who was learning English, and she was a feminist writer, so I thought that was really cool. And as for everything else, I think I covered most of it already. I was very quick with this one, I think, with talking about this one. And I hesitate to say anything else because I don't want to ramble too far away from what the actual book is talking about. But I pretty much said everything, and I'm looking at the time on this video, and it's a lot shorter than what I expected when going into talking about this book. I guess just though, yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed it, and I think it's a nice book for if you want to be, especially if you want to be inspired to connect with your own heritage and your own family history and your own culture. Especially I feel like if you like have multiple directions that you can go in, because like for me, I have family from Mexico and from Ireland and from Sweden, and those are like the main three that I identify with because of the people I am most connected to in my family and the relics that are like passed down. Because yeah, like in terms of people, I'm connected the most with like my Mexican side of the family, but in terms of relics and like cooking and practices like that, I'm like more so connected to the Swedish side of my family, and then there's just like Irish in there, but I don't really know much about like the people or any of the relics we might have that have anything to do with us being from Ireland in terms of ancestry, I mean. And I mean recent ancestry too. So yeah, I feel like I have kind of three main avenues to like go out and explore the history of my family or families. And yeah, I think I'm pretty excited to see where it goes. Yeah, so that's exciting for me, and I hope that if that's something that interests you, that kind of thing, I hope that maybe books like this might inspire you as well to learn more about your family history, because there's a lot. I mean, like, I don't know why sometimes I forget that the people who I see like grayscale photographs of, they had funny experiences, and they had like experiences that sound like it came from a dystopian fiction book, you know, like they were powerful people, and it's kind of weird that I kind of don't think about that sometimes until I hear about some of the stories that they've gone through, and like the time periods that they lived through and where they were at that time. Yeah, so I think going through historical documents and whatever you have, it feels really special to connect with people who are deceased, but you still like get invested in their life anyway. Yeah, especially if you have that connection to them of knowing that there's a piece of you that kind of came from them in a way. Yeah. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I guess that's all I'm gonna say. I think I have rambled and gone down plenty of paths, so yeah. Thank you so much for listening. You are an awesome listener, and I hope that wherever you go next, whatever you do next, that it is a fun and or relaxing